need to get in there and fix it.
Understood, ma'am. I'm on it.
And do not draw the attention of the 7. Jones, are you there?
I just need to stabilize the 0 point and reseal the bridge, but not let anyone escape. Easy, right? Okay. Locate the best hunters across all realities.
Signatures triangulated and defined. Execute.
This better work.
Jonesy! Jonesy is a versatile mixed-range fighter who excels at controlling screen space and forcing his opponents into a corner, whether it's a corner of the stage or a corner of his own making. Almost all of Jonesy's options can excel both on the offensive and on the defensive, and while the player will have to do a bit of resource management in order to make the most of said options, it's all the more worth it when it allows you to rack up damage quickly and maintain an incredible level of pressure. However, resource management isn't something that most folks can pick up and master on the fly, and as a result, it's going to take some time to get used to your tools. And while it's only understandable that you wouldn't be a master of something the moment you pick it up, you'd better expect players with strong rushdown or zoning options will jump on the opportunity to swamp you at your weakest point, much like a third party jumping on your squad when you're in a firefight. As a Jonesy player, it's your job to carefully pick your time to engage while peppering your opponent with gunfire. And when you're sure you have your opponent on the ropes, force them into a box of your own creation and send them back to the lobby in glorious fashion. Jonesy stands as a tall humanoid character, his height coming close to Ryu, which is very fitting as both of these characters can hit the gritty together in Fortnite. Now, for those of you who are well versed in the story of Fortnite, and for those confused, yes, there is a story, the basic appearance and name choice might appear a bit off to you. Especially since this guy is technically this guy, and this guy's name is Jones, not Jonesy. However, despite the lore, this name and appearance has been a part of the series since its inception, and it's without a doubt the most iconic design to ever come out of Fortnite. And on top of that, more people definitely know him as Jonesy as opposed to Jones. As a result, I'll be sticking with the most iconic rendition of the character here in Smash, although you can technically consider this a combination of all the most iconic aspects of the character, all while adding in a bit more life to the character through vibrant animations and expressions. As for Jonesy as a fighter, he can essentially be described as the epitome of Fortnite, and as a result, he will utilize a lot of the staple abilities that players can perform in said game, all while adding in a bit of fighting game flair to make him all the more fun to play as and watch. In terms of weaponry, Jonesy will utilize a small arsenal of guns to control the battlefield, all while using his iconic harvesting tool, the default pickaxe, to really pour on the damage. However, while that's the case, don't think that's all there is to him, because, as should be expected from a man who can hold Mjolnir, wield a lightsaber like a masterclass Jedi, and master every dance move known to man, Jonesy can definitely throw hands with the best of them. However, while Jonesy is the main fighter in this moveset, he's not coming to the world of Smash alone, as he will be accompanied by a character that has been established to be one of his closest friends, the sentient banana named Peely. Peely will make various cameos throughout Jonesy's moveset, which can be anything from simply appearing in the background to actively interacting with Jonesy himself. And while some might see this as inconsequential additions to Jonesy's design, I feel that adding in this camaraderie adds a bit more soul to Jonesy as a character, which is nice as I'm trying to pump as much character as I can into what most people know as a blank slate. Also, it should be noted that, despite all this extra character and damage options being added to Jonesy's moveset, his design is still meant to feel simple at its core, much like Fortnite itself. But just because it's simple doesn't mean there's not a ton of stuff to talk about and cover. As a matter of fact, there's so much to explore that Jonesy can't do it alone, and thanks to that, Jonesy is designed to cover all the bases you'd expect of a Fortnite character, all while being his own character that's meant to be fun to both play and watch. Keeping Jonesy's design grounded also leaves the door open for another moveset that could cover the more outlandish aspects of Fortnite. And while that day will come eventually, her tale will have to be told another day. In terms of mobility options, Jonesy has 2 jumps, along with the ability to both crawl and wall jump. If you know anything about Fortnite, other than tilted towers, the dances, and the fanbase's questionable taste in skins, chances are high the first thing that comes to your mind is the same integral game mechanic that just so happens to also serve as Jonesy's character mechanic: building. Now, for those of you who don't know, current Fortnite is split into 2 main modes, with those being build mode and zero build mode. And I'm gonna be honest with you, ever since it came out, I have played nothing but zero build. And given how the marketing for Fortnite has been since its release, along with the amazing change in perception that brought so many new players to the game, I'm clearly not the only one who made the permanent change. While this is the case, build is how the series started and is still integral to Fortnite's identity. And as a result, I felt leaving it out of a moveset for the face of the franchise would just be wrong. That door is still open for a future character to be built around zero build, but I've teased future projects enough as it is. Back to the topic at hand, using Jonesy's down special will cause him to bring up a pencil and blueprint as he enters what can essentially be described as a build stance. In this stance, Jonesy isn't able to perform any attacks, as well as not being able to pull up his shield, roll, or turn around. And should you press the B button in this stance, Jonesy will place down the currently selected buildable in front of himself, with the A button being used to swap the type of buildable and the Z button changing the type of material you are using. These buildable objects will act as walls, with attacks from both Jonesy and his opponent being unable to pass through it as long as the buildable remains active. And in total, Jonesy can have up to 5 buildables on the screen at any given time. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds a bit similar to the mechanic of a character that has been making a lot of people very angry online. Well, allow me to alleviate some of the potential rage tweets you have building up in your fingertips. Much like in Fortnite itself, Jonesy's buildables must start from a solid surface, meaning that the player can only build in the air if they have a buildable that's currently attached to the stage or a platform. While this means Jonesy can use his buildables to set up some disgusting edge guarding, he won't be able to improve his recovery by building a platform underneath himself when off stage. On top of that, Jonesy's finite materials can only be acquired in one way and one way only: physical attacks. Not gun damage, not explosive damage. If you want to keep your reserves full, you're going to need to actively approach and damage opponents using your pickaxe. This is designed to reference the way a player can harvest materials from opponents once you've killed them. And to further emulate that design philosophy, taking an opponent's stock will grant the Jonesy player a Fortnite chest that's full of materials. This means you can't simply put up a wall and build up your materials so you can cut off all engagement with your opponents. You need to mix your offense and defense together, or you're going to quickly lose access to a major part of your game plan. Also, unlike Steve's blocks, Jonesy's buildables will not lose their duration over time, even if an opponent walks on it. However, to make things fair given the fact that these buildables are notably larger than that of Steve's blocks, Jonesy's buildables will instead take a small period of time to build up the full durability, meaning that opponents that act fast will be able to break through your walls and punish you for trying to wall them off at point-blank range. While that's the case, however, weaker materials will reach max health much faster than more durable materials, with wood maxing out at 15% to break, stone taking 25 damage to break, while metal will take a total of 35% to break, with the game always choosing to use your most durable materials first, much like the resource order that Steve has. Also, do keep in mind that unlike Steve's blocks, Jonesy's buildables will require a grounded support in order to stay active, meaning that if a player chooses to build up into the air and the buildable closest to the ground is destroyed, then the entire structure it's attached to will be destroyed as well. This means that building up an elaborate structure isn't always the safest idea, and sometimes it's best to simply just put up a single wall and take a moment to catch your breath. Now, while this sounds simple, a lot of the intricacies that come with managing resources and the extra rules attached to his buildables definitely make him the most difficult aspect of Jonesy's character that the player will need to learn in order to excel, which is very fitting as the same goes for Fortnite itself. Yes, you can aim and shoot like any other shooter, but learning how to properly build your structures and keep yourself safe is one of the biggest hurdles for players to overcome. Still following me? Good, because now that we've discussed this character mechanic, it's now time to move on to discussing the attacks you'll be able to use when you aren't building your summer home. Let's talk about Jonesy's normals. Jonesy's normals will mainly be comprised of 2 different forms of attack, with his main weapon of choice being his ever-trusty harvest tool, the default Fortnite pickaxe. This large 2-handed weapon will provide Jonesy with some notable reach and great disjoints, allowing him to effectively space his opponents while dealing some pretty hefty damage in the process. It also technically makes Jonesy Smash's first axe-oriented fighter. No, Shu, get out of here, you! This weapon's size and design might make some attacks slow to recover from. So if you need something a bit safer, don't be afraid to make use of your basic punches and kicks to challenge your opponent's buttons and pressure them into neutral. Also, just so you're aware, this is a moveset for Jonesy, so while the footage you see in the background might contain stuff like Doomslayer, Leon Kennedy, All Might, Darth Vader, a Stormtrooper, Isaac Clarke, or Thanos, or anything else, just know that it's still all going towards the main man himself. Jonesy's neutral combo will make use of said pugilist ideals in the form of looper combination. This 3-hit sequence will have Jonesy start with a quick straight punch, all before delivering a second straight punch for a follow-up and ending the sequence with a roundhouse kick. This quick yet short-range combo will allow for Jonesy to check his opponent's buttons in the neutral or push an opponent out of his effective building range, with its damage being just strong enough that opponents will want to avoid getting in range of it. While that's the case, however, this combo's kill power isn't anything remarkable, and you have much better tools for securing kills should you let your opponent reach that high of a percent value. Jonesy's forward tilt is Harvest Hook, the first attack to utilize his harvesting tool as he pulls it off his back and swings it out in front of himself. This attack covering a great amount of range and sporting a disjoint on the upper half of the pickaxe. Thanks to this move's great damage and speed, this can be considered one of Jonesy's strongest footsie options and a great kill option if your opponent whiffs a crucial attack, and is, overall, one of the best moves in Jonesy's kit. However, as strong as it is, it doesn't combo into anything and can't be comboed into unless your opponent is at very low percent values, so its uses are rather limited in scope. Jonesy's up tilt is Rising Steel, a versatile attack option that will have Jonesy perform a rising strike with his pickaxe. This move hitting twice before knocking foes up into the air. With its multi-hit properties and solid range, this disjointed strike can be used as a combo starter at low to mid percents. Even if the opponent moves past its combo threshold, this is still a fantastic anti-air option and an even better platform pressuring tool. Jonesy's down tilt is Looper Slide, a dangerous multi-purpose attack that will have Jonesy slide along the ground with one leg extended, knocking out his opponent's balance and knocking them up into the air. In comparison to his other grounded normals, this attack's startup speed is notably faster than Jonesy's other options, making it not only one of Jonesy's best engage tools, but it's a great way to close space and check an opponent's buttons. And like his up tilt, the player can use this as a combo starter at low to mid percents. Just be sure you're not sliding into your opponent's shield, as doing so is one of the best ways to instantly lose the neutral and get yourself punished. Jonesy's dash attack is Advancing Assault, a charging strike that will have Jonesy rush into his opponent's shoulder first to launch them away. This simple attack is designed to reference the way players can smash through closed doors in Fortnite, with set action being able to damage and push back foes to create distance on hit. The player can use this move as a powerful stock closer and repositioning tool, but just make sure you're not charging headlong into your opponent's shield, as its recovery time is quite lengthy. For his get-up attacks, Jonesy will perform a variation of kick patterns to knock opponents back, all while checking his opponent with his pickaxe for his ledge attack. While the harvesting tool is the main melee weapon that players use in Fortnite, there have actually been a bunch of different melee weapons that players have been able to use over the course of Fortnite's lifetime. From huge swords to destructive hammers to the aforementioned lightsabers, there's been a lot to choose from, but for the sake of readability and potential copyright issues, Jonesy will be sticking with the weapon that he knows best, and that's his trusty pickaxe. So, instead of swapping between a variety of weapons, Jonesy will instead copy the attack strategy of said weapons with his pickaxe in order to produce some truly devastating attacks. Jonesy's forward smash is Kinetic Crusher, a powerful overhead strike that is designed to reference the attack style of the Kinetic Hammer from Chapter 4, Season 1. With this, Jonesy will arc back before performing a jumping strike, the sharp tip of the pickaxe coming down with a satisfying thunk as Jonesy puts its entire body behind this attack. Compared to his other attack options, this is Jonesy's strongest kill confirm and one of Smash's scariest stock closers, with its range and power mimicking the launch power of the Kinetic Hammer with glorious aplomb. However, while it lacks the incredible knockback growth of moves such as Ganondorf or King Deity's forward smashes, the thing that makes this move equally as scary is its incredible shield pressure. Those that choose to casually shield this attack will find their shield being popped like a balloon, and the potential damage that Jonesy can inflict off of this is absolutely insane. That, or he can just build a house on top of you before rigging it to explode. However, all of this power only matters if you actually manage to land the attack, for whiffing this move is one of the worst things you can do as a Jonesy player. On top of that, parrying this move is also a great way to instantly put a Jonesy player in the position to take some damage, but the risk associated with doing so might make it something that only the most confident, or most foolish, attempt to pull off. Jonesy's up smash is Sideways Spire, a rising attack that is designed to reference the Sideways Scythe introduced in Chapter 2, Season 8. With this, Jonesy will perform a rising slash into the air using his pickaxe, slashing up and over himself before landing back on his feet. This move will cover a sizable vertical distance, and thanks to the disjoint provided by the pickaxe, this is a great way to challenge platforms or punish an opponent's attempts to try and land. On top of that, the jumping strike will be able to bypass a lot of low-profile moves. Although, chances are high you'll still end up getting punished as you won't recover quickly enough to put up your shield. Overall, this is a solid stock closer and is in general a strong move to use against any foe that you have pinned above you. But you have much stronger options if your foe is at ground level with you. Finally, Jonesy's down smash is Infinity Circlet, a great area denial tool that is designed to reference the Infinity Blade introduced in Chapter 1, Season 7. With this, Jonesy will put his full body into a wide-hitting spin attack, striking on either side of himself once as he holds his pickaxe in one arm in order to increase this move's range. A fairly basic attack as far as down smashes go, with this attack being an excellent way to punish players trying to roll or get up on the ledge. But just keep in mind that this move's recovery is a bit slow to compensate for the extra range, as throwing around a weapon that large with one arm leads to a lack of control. Jonesy's aerials are designed to perfectly complement his fairly decent aerial mobility, with this tight-knit group of attacks having a variety of purposes. From landing options, to spacing options, to kill confirms, Jonesy has it all and more, and the only thing that could potentially hold them back is the player that's using them. Jonesy's neutral air is Battle Drop, a simple attack that will have Jonesy perform a long-reaching straight kick as he falls through the air. Jonesy will hold this kick until he touches the ground, and thanks to its range, this is one of Jonesy's best landing options and is a great spacing tool overall. And on top of its decent damage, the player can potentially link into one of Jonesy's grounded normals at low to mid percents thanks to the move's quick recovery speed. Just remember that this move doesn't sport a disjoint, so don't try using this to land against characters that use swords. Jonesy's forward air is Harvest Moon, a great spacing tool with a cheeky name that will have Jonesy pull his pickaxe off his back, all before swinging it out in front of himself in a vertical arc in order to knock foes back. This move's wide, disjointed hitbox makes it one of Jonesy's best edgeguarding tools, as well as just a strong neutral tool in general, and at higher percents, the player can use this as a kill option. You can even use this as a landing option should you use it from at least a full hop, and against certain types of fighters, it's one of your safest aerial options. Just don't land with it too quickly, as fast falling this move is a great way to put yourself in a nasty fit of landing lag. Jonesy's up air is Loop Kick, a quick and reliable strike that will have Jonesy perform a backflip in mid-air, this kick covering his hurt box and knocking any nearby foe up into the air on hit. Thanks to its blend of speed and a decent amount of range, this attack can be considered one of, if not Jonesy's best platform challenging tools and a great combo bridge thanks to its great recovery. But should the player choose to try and land with this move, they'll find that they'll be able to link this move into not only Jonesy's grounded normals, but even link back into itself should you try to jump again. It's an overall solid move that doesn't sport many downsides, aside from its lack of a disjoint and relatively average knockback growth, meaning it's not going to be securing kills until at very high percents. Jonesy's back air is Steel Check, a great reversal option that will have Jonesy turn around in midair and thrust his pickaxe out behind himself, this long-range strike knocking foes back on hit with its large disjointed hitbox. This move is capable of securing kills at later percents, much like his forward air, but this move's quicker startup and lingering hitbox makes it one of Jonesy's best neutral options. Just don't land too quick with it, as the ability to secure kills isn't the only thing it has in common with Jonesy's forward air. Finally, Jonesy's down air is Pickaxe Pendulum, a very dangerous attack that will have Jonesy throw his entire body weight forward, all while striking below himself with a large, sweeping blow from his pickaxe. This move's fantastic range is complemented by its ability to meteor smash on hit, and thanks to the way that Jonesy holds his pickaxe, this is one of the longest ranges of all meteor smash attacks, with it only coming second to Mega Man's Hard Knuckle. However, as should be expected from swinging a weapon like this with one arm, this move's recovery speed is incredibly slow, so while it can be the last thing your opponent sees if they're trying to make it back to the ledge, it can also be the last thing you see if you try landing with this move. Jonesy will grab his opponent by reaching forward with both arms, all while performing a knee strike for his pummel. For his throws, Jonesy's options are designed to be fairly standard in terms of execution and strength, and while he lacks a kill throw or reliable combo throw, his throw options are still excellent at pushing opponents back into his effective damage range or into a trap. Jonesy's forward throw is Flip Kick, a rather stylish throw that will have Jonesy leap up and drive both of his feet into his opponent's chest, all before using them as a springboard and backflipping off of them. This backflip's force will cause the opponent to be launched away from Jonesy, all while Jonesy himself lands back on his feet and strikes a small pose to show just how proud he is of that dismount. While the animation is fun to watch, this throw's uses are fairly limited outside of pushing your opponent back into mid-range or offstage to set up a potential kill. Still a cool animation though, so if that's all you need to use it, by all means, don't let me stop you. Jonesy's up throw is Tilted Tower, a powerful throw option that will have Jonesy pull his pickaxe off his back and slam the flat end of its head into his opponent's chin. The force of this attack being powerful enough to knock the opponent off the ground and up into the air. While it's not as useful for repositioning, especially since a majority of Jonesy's spacing options work better at blocking a horizontal approach than a vertical one, this throw can secure kills at higher percents. However, despite this fact, the percent threshold in which this throw can kill a majority of the cast is one that you'll likely not hit very often. Jonesy's back throw is Lazy Launcher, a more simple throw option that will have Jonesy hook his opponent with the pointed end of his pickaxe, all before flipping them over his head and into the ground behind him. Much like his forward throw, this option is mainly used to toss opponents back into neutral range or offstage for potential offstage kills, with this throw sporting a bit higher knockback growth and damage. Despite this, the throw still suffers from the same downsides as his forward throw, namely its limited usability and lack of kill power, so don't expect this to help you secure any stocks. Finally, Jonesy's down throw is Hectic Hammer, a more wacky throw option that will have Jonesy pull his pickaxe off his back and spin it onto its side, all before jumping up and whacking his opponent into the ground. At low to mid percents, the player can combo into moves such as Jonesy's forward air or tilts off of this throw, but once you cross the higher percent thresholds, you'll find that it quickly loses its usefulness against all but the largest characters in the game. However, should you try to use this throw under a buildable roof, you'll find that Jonesy has access to some very dangerous damage loops. Should you be able to not fumble your inputs, of course. It's now time to talk about Jonesy's specials, and this is where this legendary looper will be making use of a group of attacks that will truly bring out the Fortnite in his moveset. These items are designed to accentuate his mid-range pressure and trapper playstyle, and all of them are moves you're going to be using very often should you wish to use Jonesy effectively. Starting with his neutral special, Jonesy will gain access to Fortnite's staple means of dealing damage and getting dubs. Guns. Yes, get your "for his neutral special, he wields a gun" jokes out of you now, as Jonesy has not one, not three, but 5 different weapons he can utilize to do anything from rack up damage to pressure opponents to even securing kills. This is Weapons Fire. The title really says it all with this one, as by pressing or holding the B button, Jonesy will pull out his currently equipped weapon and fire in his chosen direction. While firing, Jonesy is capable of moving backwards and forwards, albeit at a slower than average speed, as well as being able to jump and shoot simultaneously. However, regardless if he's on the move or standing still, Jonesy's firing angle will be locked to straight ahead of him, meaning that you'll actively need to chase your opponent if you want to land hits with your strongest guns. Also, while these bullets can rack up damage pretty quickly if used properly, don't expect to lock opponents in hit stun from the other side of the screen, as all 5 of these weapons sport their own level of hit stun fall off. What this means is that, depending on the weapon, your bullets will lose their ability to flinch the further away you are from your opponent. There's no easy way to learn these guns, which, in short for my fellow controller users, means there's no aim assist to save you. As for the guns in his possession, Jonesy is capable of using a combat pistol, a combat assault rifle, a submachine gun, a pump-action shotgun, and a hunter bolt-action sniper rifle, with all of these weapons having their own unique damage outputs, ammo capacity, and reload times. This also goes for different levels of weapon spread, which will increase and decrease in severity depending on whether or not Jonesy is moving. While any of these options can carry you through a match on their own, it's only by switching between them and utilizing all their different attributes that you'll be able to truly master Jonesy as a fighter. Starting with the combat pistol, this reliable sidearm sports a 15-shot clip and can fire as fast as you can mash the B button. In total, the combat pistol sports both the most stable bullet spread and the quickest reload time, with it only taking 0.7 seconds to pop in a new clip. But these upsides are counterbalanced by having the lowest overall damage of all guns, as well as the shortest hit stun fall off, meaning that anything past mid-range isn't going to flinch from this thing's shots. Try blending this gun's quick shots with your normals to create some dangerous close-range frame traps, but just keep in mind that attempting this at higher percents can lead to potential punishes as opponents can pop out of this move's hit stun. Next is the Combat Assault Rifle, with this powerful automatic rifle sporting a 30-round magazine and surprisingly fast firing speed. Firing this gun in close to mid-range will quickly push opponents into its non-flinching range, and thanks to this gun's great blend of speed and power, this can be considered the all-rounder of Jonesy's kit. But a gun this strong isn't without its downsides. First off, while this weapon can really pack a punch when it's active, this gun's draw and reload speed are fairly slow compared to a lot of Jonesy's other options. And on top of that, this gun also sports the worst weapon spread out of all 5 guns, so moving around and jumping with this gun can prove to be a very problematic ordeal. To use this gun effectively, try mixing in quick bursts with your neutral options to punish opponents looking to jump you, or tap fire to test how jumpy your opponent is with a potential reflector, all before putting up a wall so you can safely reload. Moving on to the submachine gun, this weapon will share a lot of similarities with that of the combat assault rifle at first glance, with its exceptional rate of fire and large magazine that can allow for an incredible amount of damage in very little time. However, where the assault rifle sports some solid range and above average hit stun fall off, the submachine gun sports a much shorter hit stun fall off in exchange for a much tighter spread and a quicker reload speed. Try using this gun at close to mid range in order to check buttons and edgeguard opponents, but try to limit how much you use it against foes with reflectors. It's not impossible for Jonesy to end up taking 40% or more damage from a bad SMG spray, so try to be careful. Next is the pump action shotgun, a rather groovy weapon option that packs the hardest punch out of all of Jonesy's kit. This semi-automatic weapon will fire cones of damage as opposed to straight firing bullets, with its damage being at its strongest at the base of the blast and rapidly losing said power as it travels outward. And where the other guns mentioned so far can, at most, only push opponents back and rack up damage, the shotgun is the first of these weapons that can actually secure KOs with its incredible knockback growth. Despite this, however, this weapon sports the slowest reload speed out of all of Jonesy's options, with Jonesy not only loading each shell individually, but ejecting each shell casing after firing. Overall, this is the ultimate exchange of speed for power, and while it can hold 6 shots at once, you're going to find yourself spending a lot more time reloading than firing. Finally, to round out the list, there's the Hunter Bolt Action Sniper Rifle, the long-range specialist that can deal huge damage from almost anywhere on screen. Compared to Jonesy's other guns, the sniper rifle lacks any form of hit stun fall-off. And when you mix that with it having the longest range out of all guns, you have a tool that even your most headstrong zoner will need to be on the lookout for. However, despite its incredible power, this weapon's semi-automatic firing mode and very small clip will leave you wide open for well over 95 frames in between each shot. This weapon is also very fast, meaning the time each shot is active on screen will be very small, and in short, very easy to dodge if your opponent can see it coming. If you're looking to mix this gun into your game plan, try setting up a shot while your opponent tries to break through one of your buildable structures, as a quick shot to your opponent's dome can be one of the last things your opponent sees before you go to the victory splash screen. 5 weapons for a variety of purposes, and with no ammo management attached to them, the most you need to worry about is positioning and needing to take the time to reload. This 5 weapon loadout is also designed to mimic the inventory system of Fortnite itself, with there always being 5 inventory slots for anything from guns to healing items, while 1 extra slot is always dedicated to your harvesting tool. As for how you swap in between each weapon, look no further than Jonesy's shield special, Weapon Swap. This quick and simple input will have Jonesy swap to the next weapon slot in his inventory, with it cycling from the combat pistol, to the combat assault rifle, to the submachine gun, to the pump shotgun, to the bolt action sniper rifle, and back to the pistol. While the time between each weapon being drawn will vary, it's still a quick input that can be mashed multiple times in a row, much like Min-Min's down special. Also, should you swap out your weapon once you've spent its magazine, you'll be forced to reload said weapon once you swap back to it, so don't think you can bypass the downtime. Moving on to his side special, Jonesy will be making use of a rather volatile ordnance to cause chaos and add on to his already incredible stage control game. They're fun, they're a bit scary, they're very nutty, they're almost, but not quite. You see, Fortnite sports a ton of wacky weaponry that are designed to be over the top and a bit detached from reality. So, as a means of fitting in with Fortnite's aesthetic, and to take a step away from the characters I've already given basic grenades, I'd like to introduce you to Jonesy's side special, Clinger Toss. For those not in the know, clingers can essentially be described as grenades that are attached to plungers, and unlike regular grenades that will roll and bounce off of solid surfaces before exploding, clingers will instead cling to their target before exploding. And once you get this thing stuck to you, it's best to pick a god and start praying. Here in Smash, the clinger will act as a cross between that of Snake's grenades and Mega Man's Crash Bomber, with it sticking to the closest solid surface before exploding in a small radius. Only, unlike Crash Bomber, you can't get this plunger off once it makes contact. At this point, the most your opponent can do is either hold up their shield or run after you in an attempt to try and drag you down with them. And should your opponent choose to cower and block, you have every opportunity to do a variety of activities, including reloading your weapons or putting up a wall. However, if you're feeling a bit spicy and you're playing with more than 2 players, grabbing and tossing your clinged foe into the other players can be an effective tactic. While clingers can be a dangerous tool to use in high-paced encounters, they also double as one of Jonesy's scariest neutral tools, thanks especially to the fact that Jonesy can attach these to his buildable structures, essentially booby-trapping his own buildings to either deter an aggressive foe or set up some dangerous frame traps with his more powerful attack options. For example, clinging a wall and setting up a sniper round is a dangerous 1-2 punch, especially if your opponent is foolish enough to be right next to the wall as it explodes. Still, for as powerful as the clinger can be in certain encounters, the player will need to pick and choose when and where they want to throw them carefully, as Jonesy is the first character to come with a limited amount of explosives at his disposal. In total, the player can hold up to 4 clingers on their person at any time, and once one is active on the stage, the player will have to wait for it to explode before they can throw out another one. As for how to get more clingers, they'll naturally recharge at a rate of 1 clinger every 7 seconds. But don't fret, as you're still more than a match for your foes if you haphazardly use all of them. Also, just for clarification and answering any would-be questions that pop up later, yes, you can reflect clingers, but reflecting it will not knock it off of you once it's attached to you. Moving on to his recovery special, Jonesy will make use of a pair of items that go together like Slurp and Buckshot, granting him an incredibly powerful recovery option in the form of Rift to Go. In Fortnite, these sweet little snow globes are often used as a last resort when you and your squad need to get the hell out of Dodge, as shaking one would activate a rift and teleport the user and all nearby players high up into the sky, essentially allowing them to relocate to another section of the map in very little time. Here in Smash, Jonesy will use this as a makeshift teleport special as he pulls out a Rift to Go and shakes it, this causing a rift to form at his initial location before he appears at a different point chosen by the player. Once he appears, Jonesy will then pull out his glider and soar through the air, this glider granting him highly increased airspeed and acceleration that not even Jigglypuff could hope to keep up with. Much like in Fortnite, Jonesy is capable of dropping and redeploying his glider as many times as he wants before he touches the ground. And while this glider will deal no damage on its own, don't think you can easily jump Jonesy once he needs to make it back to the stage. Remember how I mentioned that the Rift to Go would also teleport nearby players when used in Fortnite? Well, that aspect of the item is still kept intact here in Smash, as if the opponent steps too close to Jonesy when he tries to recover, they'll be teleported along with Jonesy and flung upwards into the air once they reappear. This allows the player to potentially use this option as a stock closer, thanks especially to the fact that the rift will linger for 2.5 seconds after Jonesy teleports, meaning that it's more than possible to teleport behind your opponent, back air them into the rift, and send them soaring for the blast zone. Finally, for his down special, we make our way back to Jonesy's character mechanic and stable ability as a fighter. Build mode. This pseudo-install state will allow for Jonesy to build up to 5 structures of various shapes and angle, with these structures relying on his resource kit in order to work effectively. And should Jonesy run out of materials, this special will become useless unless Jonesy gets in close and beats the wood, brick, and/or metal out of his opponents. Also, as previously mentioned, Jonesy is not capable of attacking at all during this mode, meaning that poor timing can get you punished from both incoming attacks, or more notably, by grabs. Those that wish to master Jonesy will need to learn how to quickly bring up and drop build mode when in the middle of combat, all while also knowing when and what they want to build while keeping their opponents on their toes. It's not an easy task to ask of any player, but those that master Jonesy will quickly understand that he has the potential to be one of the scariest fighters in the entire game. Next is the final smash, and for this, we're taking a trip back in time to October 15th, 2019 as Jonesy will show his foes just how insanely chaotic the world of Fortnite is. This final smash, with its explosive payoff and very fitting title, is the end. When the final smash starts, Jonesy will pull out Agent Jones's looper and violently shake it, all before tossing it out in front of himself as it creates a massive glowing rift. This rift will draw up to 3 opponents into its vortex, and it's here where this final smash will start. We're given a bird's eye view of Athena, the island from Fortnite Chapter 1, as a massive rift forms in the sky. As the rift reaches its maximum size, a large meteor will be shown dropping from its center, all the way down into the island as it makes contact with the 0 point. Once it makes contact, what seems like a massive explosion suddenly starts to implode on itself, and it quickly becomes apparent that this impact has created a black hole. At this point, the world and reality around it will quickly be sucked into the epicenter, all before everything goes black, and nothing remains. During the final bits of this animation, Jonesy and Peely can be seen roasting marshmallows on a nearby floating island, all before noticing the destruction and using Jonesy's looper to teleport away from the incoming damage. Once the final smash ends, the screen will reform back into the stage as Jonesy and Peely share a small taunt together, all before he returns to his idle animation. Should any caught opponent be over 100% damage when they're caught at the epicenter of what can essentially be described as the end of the universe, they'll be wiped away along with the rest of Athena and lose their stock. And while that might sound like an instant kill to almost anyone in its path, just remember that Bowser has canonically survived the Big Bang, so I'm sure he'll be fine. There are plenty of potential victory themes that can work for Jonesy, as while many might not know it, Fortnite sports a large array of pretty great music. However, out of all the options available, I've decided to go with what I feel is the best possible choice, with this song being called Winner's Circle. Players first got their hands on this song in Season 1 of Chapter 3, and there's no better theme to ready up to after you and your squad secure a win. animation number 1 will have the number 1 Victory Royale banner appear on screen as Jonesy strikes a confident pose, all while Peely cheers for his best bud in the background. This simple victory animation will reference several aspects of Fortnite as a whole, including the iconic victory banner, the ability to emote after you've won, and Jonesy's pose, which is a reference to the render for the Jonesy the First skin. Victory animation number 2 will have Jonesy fly in using his glider, all before diving down to the ground and landing with an impactful thud. After his dramatic entrance, Jonesy will stand up and raise his arm into the air in a triumphant manner, the number 1 Victory Royale banner then descending from on high as Jonesy will hold this pose until the player cycles back to the player select screen. Finally, victory animation number 3 will have Jonesy perform the crowning achievement emote, this having him pull out a victory crown and show it off to the camera. This victory animation will actually track the number of wins you've scored with Jonesy since the last time the console was turned on. So if you're looking for a way to really dunk on your opponent's morale, then this is the animation that you want. Taunt number 1 will have Jonesy perform the finger wag emote, this having him shake his finger in a sassy manner, all while shaking his head at his opponent's attempts to fight back. A simple taunt that shows more of Jonesy's personality, which is nice as you don't get to see it very often in Fortnite. Taunt number 2 will have a rift portal open behind Jonesy, showing a random location from the island as Peely waves from the other side. At this point, Jonesy will turn around and wave back before the rift closes, but if the player is lucky, there's a chance that, instead of Peely appearing, a llama will burst out of the portal and run across the stage, with Jonesy ducking out of the way before he returns to his idle animation. Finally, taunt number 3 needs no introduction. Jonesy, if you would. The most iconic Scrubs reference you'll ever see, the default dance of Fortnite simply known as dance moves. This long taunt can be cancelled at any point by running, jumping, attacking, or holding shield, meaning that launcher into dance moves into punish, then back into dance moves is a true combo. Truly is a beautiful thing, isn't it? For his colors, Jonesy will utilize a few of the many iconic skins featured in Fortnite. And thankfully, Jonesy himself has been the basis for many a skin in this franchise. While I couldn't possibly cover all of them, I picked the ones I felt made the most sense without muddying readability. And if you disagree with the list, by all means, feel free to make your own. Color number 1 is Jonesy's original appearance as a default skin in Chapter 1 of Fortnite, with this skin being fittingly titled Jonesy the First. This is the only one of the original default skins that never received a variation bundled with the original skin, so you know that this is an iconic look. Color number 2 will have Jonesy don his default skin appearance in Chapter 2 of Fortnite, with this skin being hilariously titled Jonesy the Secondest. This stylish outfit can be considered a big step up from Jonesy's original look, but it sadly never reached its popularity. Color number 3 will change Jonesy into a snapshot creator and well-regarded master of the loop, Agent Jones. This will feature Jones in his business standard blue suit, and with him on your side, never before has a turf war looked so stylish. Color number 4 will also feature Agent Jones, with this being based on his variation named Jump 42. This can essentially be described as a snapshot created by Agent Jones' 42nd consecutive jump, and this aspect is why there are so many different Joneses running around and it makes sense. Kind of, sort of, don't think too much about it. Color number 5 will have Jonesy don his most recent skin variation, with this being titled Jones Unchained. The simple skin will have Jones donning a prison jumpsuit, with the top half being wrapped around his waist as he wears a simple white sleeveless shirt. The rugged look really makes the skin, and it's one of my personal favorite Jonesy variants as a result. Color number 6 will have Jonesy get all festive with Cozy Jonesy, all with an ugly holiday sweater to boot. While Jonesy would receive a better holiday skin in the form of Cozy Knit Jonesy at the beginning of Chapter 3, this skin was chosen purely thanks to its seniority. That, and I like his hat. Color number 7 will take a step away from your basic Jonesy outfits and instead have Jonesy don the skin that's titled First Strike Specialist. This was the very first Jonesy variation skin that was created for Fortnite, and its stylish blue finish and shark motif make it stand out heavily from many skins that would come after it. Finally, color number 8 will have Jonesy proceed to get a bit spooky and don the Skull Trooper set, the first epic skin ever released for Fortnite and one of the most iconic skins in Fortnite history. This stylish spook suit used to be so rare that accounts with this skin would sell for a pretty good sum of money back in the day, and if those eye trails are anything to go by, your opponents are bound to have a bad time. If you were to tell me a few years ago that Fortnite would become a game I play on a regular basis, let alone at all, I'd probably laugh you out of the room with claims that you're out of your mind. but nowadays, looking back at how much I missed, I wish I did stick with it from Season 3. Well, missed potential and business potential aside, Fortnite has quickly become one of my most played games in the past couple of years, and it's amazing just how much I've fallen in love with its gameplay loop. And thanks to that, seeing Fortnite and Smash has gone from something I expected yet dreaded to something I actively want to see happen. I definitely feel that, given the fact that Fortnite's popularity has held strong for over 5 years, it's only a matter of time until Fortnite gets into Smash. As despite the polarizing thoughts surrounding the franchise, I feel the positive definitely outweighs the negative. What they actually put in Smash from Fortnite, however, is completely up in the air. Jonesy is definitely the most iconic design from the franchise, and the character he's a snapshot of, Jones, can essentially be described as the main character of the series. But there are many iconic skin designs that have become synonymous. No, not you. Go away. Shoo. Shoo. There are many iconic skin designs that have become synonymous with the Fortnite brand that could easily be used to represent the franchise. Or maybe a character comprised of the most iconic designs, where changing the color will switch to a completely unique skin. While the concept of hearing the Smash announcer say "Beef Boss" is hilarious to me, I feel that the simplicity of Jonesy, along with the many variants he sports, make him the primary candidate. Whatever happens, I just hope they try to make him as fun as possible when the time comes. Whenever that may be. If you like what you saw, be sure to like and comment. It not only helps with the algorithm, it also gives me a much needed boost in morale. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to jump right into the other movesets I've made, follow the link in the description to go to my Challenger Concept playlist. Just be sure you press that little bell icon, as doing so will leave you assured that you never miss a future upload. For now, I've been Felicia Fan, and I hope you have a good one.